Hello, greetings, and welcome everyone to this, my closet, and another news video by me, the Engineer. We are going to go ahead and enter this set of topics without doing much waffling. By the way, as we waffle, that term is hilarious to me. I just more or less discovered it, even though that it has been floating around the internet for some time apparently. And I find the term fascinating and hilarious and amazing. Knowledge is amazing and fun and all that kind of jazz. Where did that come from, by the way? If anybody happens to know where the term waffling came from, or why waffling became speaking nonsense without saying much, yeah, throw that down in the comments. I'm very curious, and I am too lazy to look it up. Anyway, the news topics today are as follows. Sarah Hardwick's articles are a great read. GM adopting the NACS standard. The government requiring Tesla to have some CCS. Aptera is temporarily closing their accelerator program, and the accelerating program. We're gonna get this. The accelerator program exploded for a very logical reason. All right, thank you all for joining me today. Our first story is about Sarah Hardwick, the Chief Marketing Officer for Aptera. She writes articles on LinkedIn, and I had been kind of passively following these articles until recently, where I saw one that, in my opinion, is my favorite one of hers to date. It basically talks about kind of a behind-the-scenes insight with respect to their marketing team, and them working with the gentleman who specializes in figuring out why products do well, what their secret sauce is, if you will. It was a very insightful article, and it kind of reinforces the reasons why I like the Aptera. In the words of Dr. I'm not going to say his name because I am not going to butcher it. I'm probably going to end up putting the sound for it right here.
Clotaire. Rapaille.
And then we're going to go ahead and continue. Anyway, this gentleman said the Aptera is the symbol of the new revolution in the world of mobility, specifically the solar revolution. I highly recommend the full article, which, by the way, will be linked in the description, as will all of these stories here. GM is adopting the NACS standard, the Tesla connector. It is great to see. It's one of my favorite things to happen in the news this week, partially because GM is kind of following Ford, who is following Aptera, either knowingly or unknowingly. But it was one of my favorites because it seems like the young lady that is the current CEO, yeah, she did not make that announcement willingly, or so it seemed by the Twitter spaces that she announced it in. If you guys remember the one that Tesla did with Ford's CEO, whose name has escaped me, funny enough, that one was about an hour long. It was very warm and very friendly. A little strange to see competitors being that friendly. GM's announcement was basically all business. Miss Mary decided that she was going to be straight to the point, and got there, and just kind of, it was a lot less cordial. It was a lot less friendly. It was just, in general, like, it felt like she was one of those people that was like, they were holding her feet to the fire, kind of trying to get her to make this announcement. Hey, you're gonna make this announcement. And she's like, but I don't wanna. You're gonna make this announcement. And then she went to make the announcement. Was like, you know what, if I have to do it, I may as well just, get it over with. And so that's what it felt like to me. If you guys had different opinions, please let me know. But yeah, when I got through watching her Twitter space announcement, it felt like how I was expecting Ford's to be, because I did not know that Ford's CEO and Elon Musk had such a good relationship, or that they had talked at length about anything beyond what they talked about. Anyway, yeah, so it's great to see them adopting it. They are the third auto manufacturer to come under the NACS umbrella. Yeah, hopefully that kind of cues the government into what is happening, so they can go ahead and get on that adopting NACS thing. Yeah. Anyway, do you guys remember that Tesla was approved for government funding some time ago for their like charging network and all that kind of jazz. So according to a statement earlier this year, we developed minimum standards to ensure publicly funded EV charging is accessible, reliable, and affordable for all drivers, and we required the interoperability to promote competition. Those standards give flexibility to add in both CCS and NACS, blah, blah, blah. That statement, given by the press secretary for the White House, essentially said more or less, I'm going to go ahead and put the full quote in the description, maybe along with an article that I could find that actually quoted it. But anyway, that statement basically encapsulated where the government is with respect to the NACS standard, in that they are still backing CCS to the point where it might be counterintuitive, in my personal opinion. Reason being, CCS is a more expensive and more complex charging cable. That is not just my opinion, in that the uptime for the charging stations has been abysmal when it comes to CCS as compared to Tesla. A whole list of other things that have been more or less the deciding factors as to whether or not people decide to buy an electric vehicle boil down to the charging standards. And the reason why Tesla is such a popular electric vehicle is the charging network and the fact that their product is pretty darn amazing. Said that to say that the government is apparently still pushing CCS for the foreseeable future, which I understand because there's quite a few electric vehicles on the road that have CCS. But the lion's share of these vehicles on the road right now that are electric all have the NACS charging standard. That, by the way, that is the lion's share, not the entire landscape. There's still some Chathamos out there looking at you, Nissan Leaf. There's some CCS out there in several brands. Ford and GM specifically still have CCS adapters until 2025, when they will be going to NACS. But the numbers of CCS adapters in vehicles is far less than what I believe should constitute producing a standard from. If your standard is falling behind to something that is better, just go with the better thing. Just back the better thing. It just makes sense to me. But I am not a government official. I am not in a position to know what they know, and potentially they have information that I don't with respect to why CCS should be the standard. I don't know what that information is, but I'm not seeing a lot of convincing evidence on my side that says that CCS should be the standard still. NACS is better. It just is. Let me see. So, sidebar. One thing that I didn't mention in that previous story about the government still backing CCS is how that affects Aptera. I will kind of answer that question with a question. Tesla is putting CCS stuff in their charging network because they have to, because the government is funding CCS stuff more so than anything else. Their solution to that right now is the Magic Dock. The Magic Dock is essentially an adapter, and that adapter looks exactly like a CCS plug because it has to plug into a CCS. The thing is, how resilient will those adapters be in the long run, in the grand scheme of things? If there is an issue already with the CCS plugs breaking off that little clip, excuse me, breaking off that little clip and making it therefore very difficult to keep your car charging. If somebody walks by and pulls out your plug, you're kind of out of luck. If that is an issue now, will that become an issue with the Magic Dock? Moreover, will that issue make it inoperable in general? Like, will the adapter get stuck for some reason? Will there be, like, there's the added complexity, in my opinion, doesn't make sense. But the reason why that is important is because that is going to affect Aptera vehicles. We are waiting for Aptera to get out into the market, of course, but when they do get into the market, they will have the Tesla plug. If the Tesla plug is plugged into the Magic adapter, the Magic dock, and you have to take out that plug and it's stuck for some reason, or something is wrong with the CCS adapter or something, there's things that can happen that make that charger inoperable that Tesla's probably thought of, quite frankly. But if they miss something, as humans often do, then the client, the customer, has to more or less pay the price until they fix it. My question is, will that impede Aptera as well as other NACS adopters in the long run? Would it not make more sense to just go with NACS? Anyway, yeah, enough about that topic. I tend to get unnecessarily passionate, and I'm sure this is going to be like the fourth take that I do for this particular topic. It was like the third or fourth, but anyway, enough of that. We're moving on to the next thing. The Accelerator Program has come to a close. Well, at least for the near future. Essentially, the Accelerator Program has been paused because the SEC required Aptera to file new paperwork. According to Aptera, according to Aptera via the Aptera Owners Club, the Accelerator Program is going well enough that they will reach the cap on the funds that they were allowed to raise based on their first SEC filing. The first SEC filing that they did, they're reaching that cap. According to my math, they're somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 million or 3 million from that cap, and that will be less than ideal when it comes to taking new investments. They're not allowed to take new investments unless they have the permission to take said investments. So yeah, they're redoing the paperwork and all that kind of jazz. That announcement of the pause, which by the way happened over this past weekend, caused a bit of a stir in the Accelerator Program, in that a ton of people made a ton of investments in a very short amount of time. By my estimation, and by the estimation of a friend of mine, you may remember him from the podcast format that we did. His name is Robyn. They raised somewhere between 1 and 1.5 million in just a couple of days, like over the course of the weekend. And this surge was the surge that I expected toward the end of the initial announcement of the Accelerator Program, where I thought they would be vying for position and all that kind of stuff. That happened over the course of the weekend. Even though our number one slot is not taken out, it was the kind of surge that I expected toward the end of the Accelerator Program when they first announced it. And here it is that they're announcing a pause, which many people took as an end, because we don't know if they're going to open it back up. We don't know. We expect them to, but we don't know. And so because of that uncertainty, people jumped in with a lot more money over the course of the weekend. I debated myself making another investment in Aptera, but that would have impacted my lifestyle. And I believe that lifestyle is a very important aspect of life that is, in my opinion, not negotiable. So I did not. I do, however, expect that when the program does come back, I might throw a little more in there. But again, we are talking about this from a perspective of what I am doing. This is in no way something that I believe that you should be doing necessarily, nor is this any sort of financial advice. Speak to your financial advisors about investing in Aptera if that is something you would like to do. Although you can't do it right now, when it does happen that they get their paperwork put together and all that kind of stuff, you should probably, go ahead and do that. Not financial advice, but you should talk to your financial advisor about whether or not you should. Anyway, ordinarily this is kind of where I would put a bunch of videos that I liked, but because those videos are not Aptera related, I will simply say that I liked my subscriber count becoming more voluminous this past couple of weeks. I think I got like 20 subscribers over the last month or so. That is a personal best. I've never seen that many subscribers all at once. So first of all, thank you guys. I enjoy the fact that you enjoy my content. I thank you so much for supporting me in the subscriber count and in the watch time and all that kind of stuff. It is very important and I appreciate it very much. Yeah, man, kind of makes it all worthwhile. So if you guys would be so kind as to share this video, show support for the channel by hitting that like button, throw some comments down there if you had some thoughts. I am getting more into the opinion territory here than normal. So, you know, if you guys have thoughts about that, let me know in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. Catch you next time.